Hey, it's John from Visier, and today I'm going to walk you through Visier's reporting capability and show you how it lets your customers access their workforce data quickly and on the fly. In this video, we'll take a look at the end user experience for consuming a report. We'll take a look at how it looks like to create a report from scratch. We'll review Visier's platform architecture and how it helps you deliver reporting quickly and easily to your customers. And lastly, we'll take a look at security in reporting. But before we dive into it, let's talk about some of the reasons why HR tech vendors are adding reporting to their app. First of all, we're always thinking about retention and upsell. Reporting acts as a really good gateway into more advanced analytics capabilities, supporting customers moving up in your plans. Secondly, your customers are thinking more and more about compliance every day. How do I make sure I'm in compliance with what seems like ever-changing legislations in the regions that I'm operating in? And lastly, your customers are thinking about data verification. How do I make sure that the data that's been entered by my users across my application is accurate? Now, implementing reporting inside of an application is not always as easy as one might think. Oftentimes, HR tech vendors are dealing with fragmented data across different databases using different schemas and different definitions. Oftentimes, there's data consistency issues. And lastly, there can be challenges with data latency, the time between when something updates inside your app and when it's available for reporting. So in today's video, we'll talk about how Visier solves not just for the business challenges that we saw in the previous slide, but also the technical challenges that you're seeing here. Now let's take a look at how reporting looks for an end user. Inside Visier's generative AI assistant, I'm going to ask a simple question. Who has a work anniversary this month? V returns back a list of employees in a tabular format that you can download or dive into and explore. Simple enough, right? Now let's ask a more complicated question. How much does it cost me to compensate my employees? V sends back an answer and gives me the ability to understand the definition behind the metric, in this case, total cost of workforce. You'll also see 3 reports linked at the bottom of V's response, each to give us a deeper dive into the data behind V's answer. Let's check out the compensation payout report, which provides detailed view of how much employees were compensated for each compensation category. Some companies may call this a payroll journal. Each pay event is broken up into different pay types. For example, on December 14th, Ayana Rizzo received pay into her health plan, insurance, and other categories. This is an out-of-the-box report provided by the software vendor, but what if a user wants to make some tweaks? As a user, I will create my own copy. Here we have a number of payout items, which would be easier to read if I grouped them by employee. Let's group them by employee. Okay, that looks good, but we still want to see what the total converted pay amount is for each employee. So let's edit the converted pay amount column and choose a sum aggregate function. There we go, much easier to read. So we can see each employee, the total amount that they were paid during that period. And if we want to see more details, we can expand and collapse each employee. Now that I've got the report that I wanted, I can either download it or save it and share it with a colleague. I'll share it with my colleague Faluni here. There we go, and it's been shared. Now let's take a look at how to create a report from scratch for your customers. We'll touch on this in the next section, but when you as a software vendor create reports, they can be shared to your customers' tenants, and then your customers' users can copy them and edit them like we did in the previous step. We're going to create a basic report listing employees and information about them. So we'll call the report My Team. And to make the report a bit easier for users to edit and change things around, we can edit the suggestions that are provided on the right here when they add a column. This is particularly helpful when your data sets have a number of fields and you want to be able to give your users the ability to focus in on specific fields for the report that they're building or customizing. So here we have actual base pay, age, and birth date selected. We'll go ahead and add in full name as a suggested field as well. Save the suggestions. And then when we create the report or when they edit the report, they can easily select these fields without having to dig through a number of other fields. Age, actual base pay, and we'll add in a couple more as well. We'll add in organization and direct manager. So what we have here is data coming from a couple of different places. First of all, information about the employee coming from one data store, and then pay information coming from another data store, all aggregated into one report. So creating a report is really as simple as that. Once you've got it created, you can go into Open Studio, Visier's management interface, configure the permissions, and then your customers would have instant access to it to use it out of the box or customize it to make it their own. Now that we see how it all works from an end user and report creation perspective, let's take a look at what's going on behind the scenes. There's far more detailed content available to talk about Visier's platform. So for this video, we'll just scratch the surface so you can see what's going on with reporting. Like many software vendors, our data exists across multiple databases, developed at different times and with varying schemas and data definitions. For example, we may have data about our employees in an HRIS database, and we may have acquired a payroll vendor along the way with related but different payroll data in a different set of databases following a different structure. To get the whole picture, all this data needs to be brought together into one data model so we can generate comprehensive joined reports like the ones you saw before for our users. Visier's People Data Platform unifies data from across your application into a purpose-built people data warehouse with standardized HR metrics and calculations that can be used anywhere in your app, whether it's on a report like we're looking at today, inside an analytic visualization, or in a natural language response like in Visier's AI assistant. Since it's all on one data model, your user sees the same accurate and up-to-date data everywhere, every time. And because everything from data management to content to the security model is already built out, you can spend your time customizing and adjusting the solution rather than spending dev cycles creating it from scratch. Now let's move on and look at something that makes administering reports a breeze: Visier's multi-tenant architecture. Content, like reports, are provided by Visier and either inherited by the partner as is, or customized, or the partner can create their own content in addition to what Visier provides. From there, the user consumes the content and can create their own content based on what's provided by the partner. Updates made to your content are automatically pushed to your customers, and when Visier comes up with new content, you have the ability to incorporate it into your solution. What this means from a reporting perspective is you benefit from domain-specific and pre-built reports from Visier, with the ability to tailor them to your needs and create your own. And your customers can also consume, customize, and create their own content, all based on what Visier has provided and what you've provided to them. Finally, let's talk about security in reporting. In Visier, roles are configured to match access levels or tiers inside your app, and then permissions are divided into three categories: data security, content packages, and capabilities. Data security determines what data your users are exposed to inside of a report. For example, when opening the same report, an admin will see data from across the company, but a team lead will only see data pertaining to their team. Content packages define who has access to various pieces of content inside your app. For example, a payroll administrator might have access to a payroll run report, while the chief human resources officer may have access to a total cost of workforce report. And finally, capabilities define who has access to what capabilities inside Visier. For example, users on a basic tier may have only access to reporting, and users on higher tiers may have access to reporting and analytics capabilities. What this allows you to do is tailor data, content, and capabilities to the plans that you're offering your customers, as well as the different users within their company, allowing for a fully customizable, secure, yet really easy to use reporting solution inside your app. Visier Embedded Reporting helps you drive retention and upsell within your application by providing table stakes reporting capabilities that your users need. to help them with compliance, data verification, and a number of other business-critical use cases. It also helps you solve for some of the most complex technical implementation challenges that vendors face today when delivering reporting. Dealing with fragmented data, ensuring consistent and accurate data, and managing data latency in an acceptable way for your users. Visier is the solution trusted by over 60,000 companies for their analytic needs. Talk to one of our experts today to discuss how reporting can help accelerate revenue and adoption within your HR tech app.